The shattering of peace. For 5 millennia, Earth had known nothing but harmony. The last shots of war had long faded from living memory, becoming mere footnotes in historical archives. Humanity had built a civilization that spanned not just their homeworld, but had expanded throughout the solar system. Lunar colonies, Martian cities, and mining stations orbiting Jupiter's moons, all existing in perfect cooperation. On this particular morning, Dr. Ilara Patel stood at her observation post on Europa Station, monitoring the deep space sensors that had been humanity's eyes and ears for centuries. The sensors themselves were relics of a bygone era when humans still worried about external threats. Most considered them ornamental now, artifacts kept operational more out of tradition than necessity. Ilara sipped her synthetic coffee, reviewing the routine data scrolling across her holographic display. Then she saw it, an anomaly at the edge of the solar system. The computer flagged it as an asteroid cluster, but something about the formation pattern struck her as unnatural. "Computer, enhance Sector 7 Alpha and run pattern recognition," she commanded, her voice steady despite the sudden tightness in her chest. The display zoomed in, pixels reforming into a clearer image. What she saw made her drop her cup. The coffee splashed across the pristine white floor, but Ilara didn't notice. "This can't be right," she whispered, fingers flying across the interface. "Emergency transmission to Earth Defense Command. Priority Alpha." In the gleaming spires of New Geneva, Earth's capital for the past 1,000 years, Admiral James Takahashi was awakened by an insistent chime. He hadn't heard that particular alert in his 40 years of service. His quarters illuminated automatically as he sat up, the holographic display materializing before him. "Admiral, we have confirmation," said the AI assistant. "Multiple objects of artificial origin approaching from beyond Pluto's orbit. Speed and trajectory indicate deliberate course. Estimated arrival: 6 hours. Takahashi's expression remained calm, though his mind raced. For 5,000 years, humanity had prepared for this moment while hoping it would never come. "Initiate Protocol Sentinel," he ordered, "and connect me to the World Council." Across Earth and its colonies, hidden mechanisms stirred to life. Deep beneath mountain ranges and oceanic trenches, massive doors that hadn't opened in millennia began to unlock. In orbital platforms disguised as communication arrays, weapon systems booted up. The facade of absolute peace that humanity had maintained for 50 centuries was about to be shattered. In the World Council chambers, representatives from Earth and its colonies gathered in emergency session. The Council had been the governing body of humanity for 3,000 years, guiding the species through its longest era of prosperity and technological advancement. "The data is conclusive," Takahashi explained, standing before the assembled leaders. "We are facing a fleet of approximately 300 vessels of unknown origin. Their configuration and energy signatures match nothing in our databases." Councillor Zhao, representing the Asian Federation, leaned forward. "Have they responded to communication attempts?" "Negative. We've transmitted on all known frequencies using universal mathematical sequences. They maintain course and speed." "Then we must assume hostile intent," said Councillor Mbeki of the African Union. "Admiral, is Operation Eternal Vigil ready?" A heavy silence fell over the chamber. Operation Eternal Vigil. The insurance policy humanity had maintained despite generations of peace. The military and defense technologies developed in secret, the soldiers trained in combat arts that had otherwise been abandoned, the fleet of warships hidden throughout the solar system, all preserved against this very day. "Yes," Takahashi answered simply. "The vigil stands ready." As the alien fleet crossed Saturn's orbit, humanity's leaders made their decision. The peaceful civilization would reveal its teeth. Captain Maya Chen stood in the cavernous underground hangar, staring up at the massive warship designated Defiance. Unlike the sleek, aesthetic vessels that transported civilians between Earth's colonies, this craft was built for a single purpose: war. Its angular hull was composed of metamaterials designed to absorb energy weapons, while its silhouette bristled with weapon emplacements that had never been fired outside of simulations. "Beautiful, isn't she?" said a voice behind her. Chief Engineer Rodrigo Alvarez approached, wiping his hands on a cloth. 5,000 years of secret technological development, and she's still the most advanced ship ever built. Maya nodded, her expression somber. "I never thought I'd actually fly her in combat." "None of us did," Rodrigo replied. "We're the 10th generation of Vigil personnel. My ancestors maintained the engines, just as yours trained in the simulators, all hoping this day would never come." The hangar's massive speakers crackled to life. "All Vigil personnel, report to battle stations. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Maya took a deep breath. Time to show these visitors why humanity maintained the Vigil. The alien fleet emerged from behind the moon without warning. There was no declaration, no ultimatum, only destruction. Energy beams lanced down from the largest vessels, targeting Earth's major population centers. New Geneva, Neo-Tokyo, Alexandria Prime. Cities that had stood for thousands of years were engulfed in blinding light. In the Defense Command Center beneath the Himalayas, Admiral Takahashi watched grimly as casualty reports flooded in. Millions dead in the opening salvo. Cities that had never known violence were now reduced to rubble. "They're targeting civilian populations deliberately," observed his second-in-command, Commander Layla Washington. "This isn't an invasion, it's extermination." Takahashi's jaw tightened. "Then we respond in kind. Activate all Vigil assets. Launch the fleet." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden arsenal revealed itself. From beneath Earth's oceans, mountain ranges, and polar ice caps, warships rose on columns of blue fire. Orbital platforms shed their civilian disguises, transforming into battle stations. On Mars and the lunar colonies, missile silos opened in supposedly barren terrain. The alien fleet, having delivered its devastating first strike, seemed to pause, perhaps in satisfaction, perhaps expecting surrender. They received neither. Captain Maya Chen strapped into Defiance's command chair as the massive underground hangar doors slid open above them, revealing the night sky. Around her, the bridge crew, all descendants of the original Vigil participants, worked with quiet efficiency. "Weapons systems green," reported Lieutenant Kazuo Tanaka. "Quantum shields at full capacity. Propulsion ready," added Ensign Aisha Singh. "Gravitic engines online." Maya's fingers wrapped around the neural interface controls embedded in her command chair's armrests. "Defiance to Defense Command. We are ready for launch." Admiral Takahashi's voice came through the comm system. "Captain Chen, you are authorized to engage. Remember your training. Humanity's survival depends on it." "Understood, Admiral." Maya took a deep breath. Defiance launching. "All hands, prepare for combat." The massive warship rose from its underground berth, accelerating through the atmosphere at speeds that would have been impossible for conventional craft. 11 other vessels of the Vigil's Spearhead Division followed in formation, their hulls gleaming in the starlight. The alien fleet, still positioned over Earth's smoking cities, detected the approaching human vessels too late. Their ships began to reorient. But the 5 millennia of technological development that humanity had quietly accumulated was about to be demonstrated. "Target the lead vessel," Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the enormity of what was about to happen. Humanity's first act of warfare in 5,000 years. Quantum lance, full power. The front section of Defiance shimmered as energy gathered at its prow, coalescing into a spear of blinding white light. The weapon, theoretical until now, represented the pinnacle of humanity's secret military research. Fire. The quantum lance discharged, a streak of brilliance cutting across space. It struck the lead alien vessel amidships, bypassing whatever shielding technology they employed. The massive ship shuddered, then split apart as secondary explosions cascaded through its hull. For a moment, both sides seemed stunned by the effectiveness of the human weapon. Then, as one, the alien fleet turned to face this unexpected threat. "All ships, engage at will," Maya commanded, her voice broadcasting to the entire Vigil fleet. "Show them that 5,000 years of peace was a choice, not a weakness." The space above Earth erupted in flashes of light as the two forces clashed. The aliens had numbers and ferocity, but humanity had prepared for this moment across countless generations. Each human vessel was a culmination of 5 millennia of innovation, designed specifically to defend against unknown threats. As Defiance dove through the heart of the alien formation, Maya caught glimpses of Earth below, the planet that had nurtured humanity, now scared by unprovoked attack. The peaceful civilization that had existed hours ago was gone forever, replaced by something older and more primal. The will to survive, to fight back, to demand vengeance for innocent blood. "Multiple hostiles, portside," reported Lieutenant Tanaka as 3 alien vessels moved to intercept them. Maya's hands danced across the neural interface. "Evasive pattern Delta. Bring us about for another lance strike." Defiance rolled and pivoted with impossible grace, energy beams from the alien ships slicing through the space it had occupied moments before. The human vessel's quantum shields flared as they absorbed glancing hits, redistributing the energy to the ship's weapon systems. "Lance recharge," Tanaka announced. "Target the central vessel. Fire." Another streak of brilliance, another alien ship torn apart. The remaining 2 broke formation, attempting to flank Defiance. "They learn quickly," Maya observed. "Kinetic batteries, spread pattern." Defiance's secondary weapons opened up, launching accelerated projectiles that pursued the maneuvering alien vessels with relentless precision. One found its mark, the kinetic impact shattering the alien ship's propulsion system. The crippled vessel began to drift. The battle raged across Earth's orbit, but the initial shock of humanity's counterattack was beginning to fade. The alien fleet was regrouping, adapting to the unexpected resistance. More ships were emerging from hyperspace, reinforcing the invaders. In the command center, Admiral Takahashi watched the tactical display with growing concern. "They're deploying a second wave. Larger vessels, different configuration." As if to confirm his assessment, a massive ship materialized at the edge of the battlefield, easily 10 times the size of any vessel yet seen. Its hull pulsed with ominous energy. "All vessels, be advised," Takahashi broadcast to the Vigil fleet. "New threat detected. Unknown capabilities. Maintain distance and..." His warning came too late. The massive alien vessel discharged what appeared to be a gravitational weapon. The distortion wave rippled outward, catching 3 human ships. They imploded instantly, crushed by forces beyond their designer's calculations. In Defiance's bridge, Maya felt a chill as she witnessed the destruction of their comrades. "What was that?" "Some kind of artificial gravity weapon," Ensign Singh replied, her voice shaking slightly. "Nothing in our simulations predicted this." Maya's jaw set in determination. The peace of 5 millennia had been shattered by these invaders, and humanity's first battle in 50 centuries was proving costly. But the Vigil had not maintained its watch in vain. "Set course for that dreadnought," she ordered. "All power to forward shields and the quantum lance. We're taking that thing down." As Defiance accelerated toward the massive alien vessel, the future of humanity hung in the balance. The peaceful civilization of 5,000 years had been replaced in a single day by a species fighting for its very existence. And they would fight with everything they had. The reckoning. The massive alien dreadnought loomed ahead, a planet killer that dwarfed even humanity's largest vessels. Its surface rippled with strange energies, the hull design unlike anything in Earth's extensive xenobiology archives. As Defiance approached, several smaller alien craft moved to intercept, their formations suggesting a protective screen. "They're guarding that ship," Maya observed, studying the tactical display. "It must be their command vessel." Lieutenant Tanaka nodded grimly. Sensors detect unusual energy signatures. That dreadnought is preparing another gravitational attack. Evasive pattern Omega. Maya ordered. Notify all Vigil vessels to maintain distance from the dreadnought's firing arc. Defiance rolled sharply, its gravitic engines allowing maneuvers that would have killed an unaugmented human crew. The alien escort vessels pursued, energy weapons lancing out but failing to connect with the nimble human warship. "Captain," called Ensign Singh from the communication station, "we're receiving a transmission. It's directed specifically at us." Maya frowned. After hours of battle and millions of human casualties, now the aliens wanted to talk. "Put it through." The main view screen flickered, then resolved into an image that sent a collective gasp through the bridge crew. The alien commander was surprisingly humanoid, bipedal with 2 arms and a head, but his skin was a deep obsidian that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Golden eyes with vertical pupils regarded them with cold intelligence. "Humans of Earth," the alien spoke, his words translated by Defiance's advanced systems. "I am Supreme Commander Vorex of the Arxer Dominion. Your resistance is unexpected." Maya straightened in her command chair. "You attacked our world without provocation. Millions are dead. What did you expect?" Vorex's expression remained impassive. "We expected what all peaceful species demonstrate when facing superior force. Submission. Your kind has been observed for centuries. No warfare, no military advancement, just peaceful expansion and cultural development." The revelation sent a chill through Maya. They had been watched all along, their peaceful civilization studied like specimens in a laboratory. "You misunderstood us," she replied, her voice steady despite her growing anger. "Our peace was a choice, not a limitation." "A deception," Vorex corrected. "Your hidden military preparations did not escape our notice. A species that maintains weapons while projecting peace is the greatest threat of all." Now Maya understood. The alien invasion wasn't unprovoked, it was preemptive. They attacked because humanity had maintained the vigil, preserved their capacity for warfare, even while building a peaceful society. "Last chance, human," Vorex continued. "Surrender your world, and the survivors may live as subjects of the Dominion." Maya's expression hardened. "Here's our answer." She cut the transmission with a gesture, then turned to her weapons officer. "Lieutenant Tanaka, target their dreadnought with everything we have." "Captain," Tanaka responded, studying his console, "I'm detecting fluctuations in their shield harmonics. There's a pattern. Their defenses cycle every 47 seconds, creating a momentary vulnerability." Maya leaned forward. "Can we exploit it?" "If we time the quantum lance precisely, yes. But we'd need to get closer, much closer." "Then that's what we'll do." Maya opened a channel to the rest of the Vigil fleet. "All vessels, this is Captain Chen. We've identified a weakness in the enemy dreadnought. Defiance will move to strike position. We need covering fire. Everything you've got." Across the battlefield, the human fleet acknowledged her orders. Despite heavy losses, they remained disciplined, united by 5,000 years of Vigil training and the shared purpose of defending Earth. "Course plotted," reported Navigator Lai. "We'll have one shot at this." Maya nodded. "Make it count." Defiance accelerated toward the massive alien vessel, weaving through enemy fire as the rest of the human fleet engaged the dreadnought's escorts. The quantum shields flared repeatedly as they absorbed hits, the energy reserves dropping with each impact. "Shields at 43%, warned Ensign Singh. Another direct hit could breach them." "Distance to target?" Maya asked, her fingers tight on the neural interface controls. 20,000 kilometers in closing, Navigator Lai replied. 18,000, 15,000. On the tactical display, Maya could see the alien escorts breaking through the human screening force, turning to pursue Defiance. They had realized the human vessel's intent too late. 10,000 kilometers, Lai continued. "Enemy targeting systems locked on us." "Shields at 27%, Singh reported, her voice tense. Maya felt sweat beading on her forehead, but maintained her focus. Steady. Wait for the cycle. 5,000 kilometers. We're within their point defense range. The ship shuddered as smaller weapon emplacements on the dreadnought opened fire, peppering Defiance with a barrage designed to shred approaching vessels. Shields critical. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Hold course, Maya ordered, her voice iron. Lieutenant Tanaka, prepare the lance. Tanaka's fingers danced across his console. Lance charged and ready. Awaiting shield cycle. 30 seconds. 20. The bridge trembled continuously now as Defiance absorbed punishment that would have destroyed any other vessel. Warning lights flashed across multiple stations, and Maya could hear the strain in the ship's superstructure, not designed for this level of damage. 10 seconds to shield cycle. Tanaka counted down. 8. 6. All power to the lance. Maya commanded. Divert from life support if necessary. 3, 2, 1. Shield cycle detected. Fire. The quantum lance discharged at point-blank range, the concentrated energy striking the dreadnought precisely at the moment its shields fluctuated. For an instant, nothing happened. Then a blinding flash erupted from the impact point as the lance penetrated deep into the alien vessel. Direct hit, Tanaka reported, unable to keep the exultation from his voice. Their main power core is destabilizing. Get us out of here, Maya ordered. Maximum thrust. Defiance's engines screamed as the damaged warship pulled away from the dreadnought, which was now erupting with secondary explosions along its massive hull. Space itself seemed to warp around the alien flagship as its gravitational weapons turned inward, the technology consuming its creators. The human vessel had barely reached safe distance when the dreadnought detonated in a cataclysmic explosion that momentarily outshone Earth's sun. The shockwave buffeted Defiance, sending it tumbling end over end despite the inertial dampeners. When they stabilized, the tactical display showed a battlefield transformed. The remaining alien vessels were in disarray, their command structure shattered with the destruction of the dreadnought. Some continued fighting, but others were breaking formation, accelerating away from Earth. They're retreating, Singh announced, her voice filled with disbelief. Maya allowed herself a moment of fierce satisfaction before reality reasserted itself. Damage report. Hull integrity at 38%. Life support stable but strained. Propulsion at 60% capacity. Weapons. Tanaka paused. The quantum lance is offline. It had been enough. One shot. Perfectly timed. The culmination of 5 millennia of preparation. Admiral Takahashi's voice came through the comm system, strained but triumphant. Captain Chen, Defiance. Well done. The enemy fleet is in full retreat across all sectors. Earth is secure. Maya closed her eyes briefly, exhaling a breath she felt she'd been holding since the aliens first appeared. Casualties. There was a pause before Takahashi answered. Preliminary estimates suggest 47 million civilians lost in the initial attack. 14 Vigil vessels destroyed. But we won. The cost had been unimaginable, yet it could have been total extinction. Humanity had survived its first interstellar war. Return to Earth, Captain, Takahashi continued. There's much to rebuild. 3 days later, Maya stood on a hillside overlooking what had once been Neo-Tokyo. Rescue efforts continued below, excavation teams digging through rubble for survivors, though hope dwindled with each passing hour. The peace of 5,000 years had been shattered in moments, leaving humanity forever changed. Admiral Takahashi approached, his uniform immaculate despite the disaster surrounding them. The World Council has made their decision, he said without preamble. Operation Eternal Vigil is being expanded. Full militarization of the solar system. Research into FTL travel to pursue the Arxer to their homeworld. Maya nodded, unsurprised. Vengeance. Justice, Takahashi corrected. And preparation. The Arxer are just one species in a vast galaxy. There will be others. And the peace we built. the civilization we were so proud of. The admiral looked out over the ruined city. Peace returns when justice is done. But never again will we mistake peace for safety. He turned to face her. The Council has commissioned a new fleet. Defiance-class vessels with improved quantum lance technology. They want you to command the first one. Maya considered the offer. She had been born into a peaceful world, raised to appreciate art and philosophy, trained in secret for a war no one believed would come. Now that war had arrived, consuming the society that had nurtured her, the path ahead was clear. Humanity would rebuild, stronger and more vigilant than before, and they would take the fight to those who had sought their extinction. "What will they call it?" she asked. "The new ship." Takahashi's expression was solemn. "Retribution." Maya gazed up at the stars, now filled with both promise and threat. For 5,000 years, humanity had chosen peace while preparing for war. For the next 5,000, they would remember the price of complacency. "I'll need a crew," she said simply. Far beyond Earth's solar system, the remnants of the Arxer fleet limped homeward, bearing news of a peaceful species that had revealed unexpected teeth. Supreme Commander Vorex, who had transferred his flag before the dreadnought's destruction, stood before the Dominion's ruling council, explaining the failure of what should have been a simple conquest. "They hid their true nature from us," he concluded. 5 millennia of peace was merely a facade, concealing a military capability that rivaled our own. The eldest counselor leaned forward, golden eyes narrowed. "You believe they will follow?" "Without question," Vorex replied. "We awakened something in them. Not just technology, but an ancient spirit of warfare that had been dormant, not dead." He paused, remembering the determination in the human captain's eyes. "They will come for us, and they will not rest until vengeance is theirs." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The Arxer Dominion had ruled unchallenged for centuries, subjugating or exterminating dozens of species. None had ever struck back effectively, until now. "Prepare our defenses," the elder counselor ordered. "All worlds, all fleets. If the humans want vengeance, they shall find only death." But as the council dispersed to implement their preparations, Vorex remained troubled. The humans had maintained their capacity for warfare through 50 centuries of peace, a discipline and foresight unprecedented in any species the Dominion had encountered. More disturbing still was what he had glimpsed in their databases before the retreat. The name of the Human Defensive Initiative that had preserved their military knowledge across generations of peace. Operation Eternal Vigil. The humans had been waiting. Perhaps not for the Arxer specifically, but for something. Some threat from the stars that their ancestors had foreseen millennia ago. It suggested a level of strategic thinking that went beyond mere survival instinct. For the first time in his long military career, Supreme Commander Vorex felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. The Dominion had awakened a sleeping giant, and the reckoning was only beginning. On Earth, humanity looked to the stars with new purpose. The long peace had ended, but they had survived. Now they would rebuild, rearm, and remember. 5,000 years of peace had forged a civilization of unparalleled beauty and achievement. The next chapter would forge something else, a power that would never again be underestimated. The stars had brought war to Earth's doorstep. Humanity would return the favor.